Good night, everybody, and welcome once again to another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Fantastic Yori Kemp from Nassau, Bahamas, along with my beautiful co-host, the lovely Miss Kimberly Ram Callahan from Trinidad and Tobago. How you doing tonight, Kim?
I'm doing fine, Yori. How are you?
All is well, all is well, all is well. Glad to have you back with me tonight, man. So what's happening in your neck of the woods, man? What's happening in Trinidad?
A lot of things happening right now in the Caribbean. Well, right now in Trinidad, it's raining.
Okay.
April, and they attributed it to the possibility of an ITCZ, but that's not so because the ITCZ is something associated with the raining season.
Mm.
But going all the way down from Guyana to Suriname is a lot of rain. I heard
Mm.
some friends of mine saying that their homes were flooded.
Yeah.
And that we had some flash flooding today. It was our first full day of rain in April.
Oh, wow. Okay. Spring rain.
Spring rain, oh, well,
Spring
April
rain.
the flowers, they say, but yeah.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, you be glad, be hopeful, be grateful for the rain because you could be in Haiti right now. Did you see that story that's been trending all day in Haiti with the community picking up 13 gang members and burning them and assassinating them? I don't mean to laugh, right? But yeah, that's a total breakdown of society, man.
That is certainly a sign that that a breakdown, there's anarchy. That's a sign of anarchy happening in Haiti right now. For residents to have come out like that to gang up against these gang members, you know,
Yeah,
they turned, the mob turned on them. They got fed
yeah.
up and they burnt them. Not just, I don't know, burnt them.
Yeah, African style necklace, get the ties and everything, man. African necklacing, that's what they call it. Where they get the ties and they get they wrap them in old ties and they pour gasoline on them and they burn them. Yeah, it's sick, man. You know.
But I'm hearing rumors that the perpetrator is responsible for this attack.
Mm.
Same people responsible for helping kidnap the 17 U.S. missionaries back in 2021. So
Oh,
I think these people are linked to the assassination of the former president.
so it's so it's all a bunch of confusion then.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I'm hearing a report say witnesses say that they
Mm.
suspect it to be that group of people.
No, I gotta tell you something though. You can't really trust Haitian reports, you know, because they tend to stretch the truth a bit. You know, they love spraying this confusion amongst themselves for their own personal agendas. So you got to be careful of them. You know, I've realized that by reporting on Haitians in the past, they kind of stretch the truth to a large degree. So I'll take it with a grain of salt. I'll wait till other confirmed reports. Because look what happened with President Moise. You know, all kind of conspiracy theories happened after his death, man. And who do you trust? You couldn't trust the prime minister. You couldn't trust the opposition. You couldn't trust any of the security forces. You couldn't trust anybody in Haiti. So, I mean,
That's what's coming out from Haiti, what we're hearing. We obviously, as you said, take it with a pinch of salt.
yeah.
This is a public lynching, basically.
Yeah.
And they poured, they beat them, stoned them, and then poured gasoline over them, lighting them
Yeah.
fire, you know.
That sounds like what they do in Africa, man. That sounds exactly like what they do. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But I guess that's what it is, you know, it's a total breakdown of society, you know, a total breakdown of society, man. And
And
I
then
think that it's times like these where, you know, you really have to be thankful for where you are, Kim. Be thankful that you are in Trinidad. Be thankful that you are in, that I am in the Bahamas, that we don't have that kind of stuff going on here. And we don't want to have it happening going over here, you know. But, you know, what happened to the troops that, was Prime Minister Holness said he was saying to Haiti? He forgot about it, huh?
made a resolution that they weren't going to
They
send
wouldn't
them
do
in.
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the resolution. Yeah. That shows you how much weight that resolution carries. I thought Holness was the man, you know. I thought he was like Mr. Macho, Mr. Bravado. He's going to send his troops anyway, you know. No,
They
that,
have
that
a joint patrol, something with a joint forces from the Caribbean, not just one country, because Jamaica has their hands full with their crime situation. So does Trinidad right now, you know.
yeah.
I heard a report today that, and it's in my neck of the woods in San Fernando, where there's reports that people are hijacking you when you're driving driving your cars in the night. They're going to purposely hit you, cause a fender bender, and then try to steal your vehicle, even if
Yeah.
it's going to try and steal your vehicle. That's a breakdown of anarchy here in Trinidad.
Yeah.
That's a breakdown in society. Like, so bad you want to steal a car, so bad you want car parts to sell, to make some money, to earn a living, to earn something to eat, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But this is what's going on, and it has me on alert,
Mm,
not just driving out at night, late at night, and,
mhm,
for my family members as well, because it
mhm.
happened right in San Fernando. It's a roadway that we traverse quite often. It's San Fernando Ciparo Road. It's the bypass as well on the highway,
Mm.
and I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Don't think about it because we have our own problems here in the Bahamas too. We have violence against women is escalating now in the Bahamas. There was a woman found stabbed multiple times about 5 days ago. She was thrown inside the canal, and people are trying to find out what happened. And there's and there's another story trending in the Bahamas right now where an MP, a member of parliament, has been accused of raping and assaulting his girlfriend, and she went to the police and she filed a report. They haven't listed the MP's name as yet because they don't do that kind of stuff already until he's actually charged. But apparently it's a serious investigation, and he's an MP from the sitting government side. I feel sad for you because if it is true, nothing's going to happen out of it, and that's what everyone's saying because he's a sitting member MP for the government side and nothing's going to happen out of it. And apparently he told us some sick stuff too. He said, you can't do nothing with me. I'll kill you, whatever this, blah, 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 blah. Some really wild stuff, man. And then it just goes back to what these women in the Bahamas have been complaining about all these years. They want to be taken serious. They want stiffer penalties for rapists, and they want marital rape laws instituted in the Bahamas. And, and this is proof positive why they're saying that,
I saw someone. I will obviously have everything from the Bahamas when I cover the news there. My Facebook feed still. I saw that there was a wanted man for murder. Circulating as well.
Yeah. They always circulate. They always put these black fellas up and these murderers up. And here's what they tell you. They say the average person shouldn't be concerned about crime because it doesn't affect you. There's really these gangs shooting up these gangs. But something, Kim, I don't believe it anymore. I just don't believe it anymore because guess what, man? As we've seen in Jamaica, and as we're seeing now in Trinidad, we've seen innocent people getting involved in the crossfire. We've seen innocent people getting picked up because once that criminality sleeps in, there's nothing much you can do anymore. Like it's what they call a wrap, Kim. It's a wrap. And I just feel sorry for Haiti. I just hope that someone could actually bring some salve and some balm to Haiti, and they could actually, bring some peace to that country. They need elections quickly, and maybe they need to do away with the government right now as it is. Whoever the prime is, Ariel Henry, they probably need to get him on their toot sweet, right now, because apparently he's the flying the ointment. He's the one who's creating all the chaos. He cannot hold the government. He cannot hold any administration whatsoever. He doesn't have any support of the pairs, and the people on the streets, they're rebelling. What do Haitians do? You're already poor. So what else are you going to do to me, man? What else are you going to do to me? Yeah.
I mean, we spoke extensively when we started this podcast on Haiti and what's been happening. We kind of took a long loop around the possibility and every scenario with Haiti and what is needed to help resurrect it and bring it back to some kind of resemblance of stability at least.
Yeah.
That's what they need, stability. And talking about elections, I know BVI is having their polls today. It would have closed a while ago.
Yeah. Hopefully by later on today they'll have some news because I've been scouring the internet for any election updates and they're not posting them. So I guess it's a pretty tame election. But they said at the advanced poll on Friday, they said 3,000 people voted, and that's about 28% of the vote. So, take from that what you wish. They may be trying to move a government. Usually when people come later, they want to move a government, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the 1,400 persons actually casted their ballots early.
Yeah.
In polling.
No, they said it was 3,000. The advanced polling on Friday was 3,000 people. Yeah.
Wow. And their electorate is about what, 16,000, a little over 16,000.
Yeah, a little over 16,000. Yeah. And this is a pretty interesting election because I think we spoke about this before. Apparently, homosexuality and legalizing homosexual marriage is on the referendum this year. And of course, like with all Caribbean countries, they're very conservative. So that's not sitting well with a lot of people. And they're using this homosexual marriage referendum as a proxy for independence. So this is a huge battle in British Virgin Islands right now. They're really battling for the soul of their country. all the chips are on the table, Kim. This is as big as it gets. You know, I don't know how they're going to react to that in other Caribbean jurisdictions, but this should be a bellwether, a test. Whether anyone who's willing to try that in any other Caribbean country, they should look to see what happens in the British Virgin Islands with, homosexual marriage, and their attempt to have that on the referendum and on any election. But I'll tell you something, Kim, any referendum coming towards an election is doomed to fail, because you're just going to tick people off, because people are just going to say, well, why should I vote for you and vote for your referendum? Even people who would want to vote for you, they're going to be poisoned by the politics. And they're going to say, man, I don't want to vote for you. I don't like your referendum. What are you trying to do to me? I've seen it happen here in the Bahamas. I've seen it happen in other Caribbean countries as well. You don't put referendums right next to an election, because people are always going to say no. They're going to feel like you're trying to trick them, and they're going to be more impacted to tell you no. And when they tell you no on the referendum, you better believe they're going to mark X for the other person as well. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I believe you, because here in Trinidad in 2014, there was a referendum for constitutional reform, which would they tried to do something with the president's office as well. And so I think they tried to go the way in similar to what Ghana has, with the president being the actual ruler, taking over the prime minister's spot. That did not go over. They tried to do
it became political, didn't it?
Yeah, there was a whole debate on it. They're trying to remove the whole member of parliament system where you can't be a minister. So you need to focus on your constituency rather than focus on the minister. And I know that, because you're elected to represent your people, yet you're not delivering the services and needs and the representation that they need, because you're still focused on your cabinet portfolio.
Yeah. Let me guess, Kamala did that, didn't she?
Yes, and it was something that was called way back in. They were calling for it in 2007 as well under Manning.
Yeah.
Similar to that. So constitutional reform has been due. I know Barbados has been undergoing some. They've taken the way with regard to consultations with the public. Talk about it. I'm not sure where they are right now on it, but with the BVI, I think someone had done a poll earlier, and they had seen that the NDP was 29% and the VIP was 28.9, trailing behind, while UP was 2.8 and the PVIM was 2.7.
Ah, wow.
Yeah, it's neck to neck there.
That usually spells bad for the government anyway. You shouldn't be neck to neck. People should love you, man. If you have the opposition that close up on your heels, then you have Now, is this a Facebook poll or this is a regular poll?
No, this is a regular poll with elections. Someone actually conducted some polls, I believe.
Okay, good. That sounds like something Peter Wickham would do. I have to speak to him, He's been ducking me. He's been traveling back and forth to France, but I'll have to talk to him and see how he feels about the BVI elections, because he was speaking quite vociferously on another Caribbean channel, So I don't know why he doesn't want to talk to us, but I've been trying to reach him, though. I'll get him. I'll get him to see what his take is on this,
He's one of those that we'll be able to talk about it. Political analysts. We have Nigel Henry here. I'm not sure how affiliated he is with the analyses across the region, though. But I know he has some dealings in, I think, Barbados as well.
Okay. Nigel Henry.
Yeah, Nigel Henry.
Something. Something I find these political strategists to be what is tea readers, tea leaf readers. Yeah, tea leaf readers. That's what I want to say. Tea leaf readers. Yeah. They just put their finger up in the air and they just see exactly which way the political tide is turning or the political wind is blowing, and they just throw something up in the air. I believe that a lot of people, I believe that the majority of people just make up their mind the day before the election who they're going to vote for. I believe a lot of them go into that poll very confused, and they may be hollering, VIP one day, and 24 hours before the election, they're hollering MVP. I've seen it numerous times across the board. You see people in shirts and in one color shirt one day, give them another week they're on another color shirt. And that shows you how confused they are or how apathetic they are to the whole thing. Maybe they're just partying, but I really believe the majority of the voters, they go into that poll and they don't know who the hell they're going to vote for.
But according to this poll, it's 29% for NDP. The VIP, the ruling party, is 28.9. That's behind. We're not by some percentage. So obviously we'll wait and see. Perhaps on Wednesday when we resume our conversation here on LimeVibe, we'll have.
We'll see what happens. Most likely the government's gone, right? Oh, you laugh. That's a nervous laugh, Kim, because you know how it goes, right? Yeah, he should have brought this referendum up. I mean, I know he wants to fulfill this agenda that is coming down from the UK, their colonial masters and the UN and whatnot, right? But he has realized he's running a conservative Caribbean country. We don't want homosexual marriage, by and large. That's really how it is. So you're only going to tick people off, really. I mean, not that I have any problem with it. I don't care. You can marry a pig if you want to, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of conservative Christians in these Caribbean countries that want nothing to do with homosexual marriage. That's just the truth, and they'll stand on their platform and they will tell you straight up and plain, we don't want homosexual marriage. Look at how long it got to in the United States, and they're supposed to be the paragon of liberality, right? And look how long they got to the long road to homosexual marriage and recognizing homosexual union. You're not going to have that in the Caribbean. You're just not going to see that sweep. Can you imagine it happening in Jamaica? Can you imagine Prime Minister Holden say we want to bring homosexual marriage to Jamaica? Can you see what's happening? Can you see it happening, Kim? I don't think that can happen, Kim. Just can't happen.
Jamaica is one of those countries.
Oh yes.
Very homophobic. They are very vocal about it.
Yes. Yes. No batty boys. And that's how it is. I mean, there's no hate. It's just the people deserve the right to decide how they want their country to go. And if they don't want homosexual marriages, they don't want homosexual marriages. It's against their upbringing. And it's funny, Kim. It's funny that, the colonial masters gave us this religion. And in this religion, these religions, the religion, Christianity has within it, they're not approving of homosexuality in any way, shape, or form. And they say it explicitly several times in the Bible, right? And they gave us this religion. And so we've stuck to it. Now they're trying to tell us to move away from what they gave us, that they used to control it. Now they want us to move away from that. I find it to be so incredibly hilarious. It's so hilarious. But this is the religion you gave us, you gave us this Christianity, A lot of us, we were worshiping Obey and Orisha spirits. We were in the bush. We didn't ask you for Christianity. You gave it to us, and now you're telling us to disregard it. You're telling us now to, take prayers out of the schools. So I just find it's totally hilarious how the tides have turned. The upper hand is on the other foot, Kim. The upper hand is on the other foot.
I mean, for local governments, I think any government that comes in, they will be manipulated to speak in this way or to change the law.
Yeah.
Why? Because it all comes down to funding.
Yeah.
You have links with the EU. Even despite Brexit happening, the BVI still gets funding from the EU. It's a territory.
Yeah.
And that was also part of their referendum initially when Brexit was taking over, how it would affect the territories.
Yeah.
EU funding is a major part of it, and EU is one of those organizations. They say, hey, if you want our money, you're going to have to comply with this.
Yeah.
It's also tourism dollars.
Territories
are tourism-based, and if they don't comply, they're going to send out a lot of warnings. Okay, don't go there. They are all homophobic. But you want beautiful sun, sand, and sea. But you know.
Yeah, I know, right? But I personally, Kim, I don't understand this morbid kind of obsession with homosexuality and homosexual marriage. Why is it always a hot topic? Why do they want us to care about it? I don't get it. Why do you want me to care about you having a homosexual relationship? Why should I care? I do not care. They want us to care about it.
I mean, some of the countries that have not legalized it have not incorporated it into their law. So they're hoping that people can still come and have their destination weddings. It's tourism dollars and cents.
Yeah. So it's all my money making thing. Did you see what happened with Bud Light though? They tried. That's hilarious. They fired the marketing director who planned that whole idea though. I mean, Bud Light was already on the teetering block, right? Bud Light was already Bud Light, right? And now you made it even more sissified with Dylan Mulvaney. Come on, no one's gonna drink that crap, man.
Bud Light was what the cheapest beer people drank. It was for the teens that, spring breakers who can't afford real beer.
Yeah. They drink Bud Light. It's a popular beer here too, and guys are still drinking it despite the controversy. But man, like, wasn't that a stupid move? They seem to forget that most people who drink beer, whether it's Bud Light or Michelob Light or even regular Budweiser or Michelob, they are, mostly men, right? Conservative men who drink beer, who love beer. They don't want to see, they don't want to be associated with sissyisms and, gay pride. They don't want to be involved in that, You can imagine me sitting down watching football with my boys and I'm pulling out a Bud Light with some homosexual connotation to it. We don't want that. I don't want sissyisms anywhere near my beer when I'm watching football. That was a stupid move. And she was fired, and rightly so, she was fired.
Yeah, in Trinidad, we have Carib and Stag. That's our own beers, right?
Yeah.
There's this whole comparison with a real man. Only sissies drink Stag, or who really drinks Carib, No. So there's this connotation associated with each beer. Stag has their slogan, a man's beer. That's their slogan in branding. So a lot of people say, only sissies drink the Carib. That's
only sissies drink the Carib. That's what they say, Kim. Yeah. Wow.
We actually have that, and if you see men in the bar, the normal rum shops and bars here in Trinidad, and they're having a Carib, that's the first thing they're going to say,
Oh wow.
Whatever their preference. So and that's all within all local beer drinking demographic.
So that's how it boils down, eh? So when I come to Trinidad, don't drink the Carib beer if I want to be looked at as a man. Don't drink the Carib beer.
I mean, obviously, I've heard critics come down Trinidad and they had samples of beer, but everybody says if you're going to have a beer, make sure it's really icy cold.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to enjoy the flavor.
Yeah.
I once had it tasted like if it's hot, it's like
absolutely beers had to be cold, Kim. Even when I was drinking, beers had to be cold. You couldn't drink a warm beer. Absolutely not. I refuse to put this back in the fridge and give me a real beer, please. You can't drink a warm beer. You're not going to enjoy it because it's going to taste kind of bitter and it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. You're not going to enjoy it. A beer is supposed to slide down the throat. It's supposed to slide down your throat. A real icy cold beer is supposed to slide down your throat and go straight to your tummy and give you that rush. You're not supposed to be and then tasting on this bitter and this tastes like garbage, man. You don't want that. Trust me, nobody wants that.
Nope. I mean, I go to the beer garden here in Trinidad. We've got beer gardens, and you go and you sit. We have the flavored beers. I'm a girl, so I'm going to go for the hard ciders and the flavored. Little like the red
strawberry flavored beer, strawberry flavored beer, right? You like your strawberry readers, right?
I'll have and my peach flavored beers.
Yeah, girly girl, Kim. Yeah, I know. I got you. No, I understand that.
Like I went sampling beers. Now some beers are really okay. I can't remember all of them, and if they're okay, I will have more of it. From the sample, based on the samples. A beer, no, I really want to know why is it men drink this. Is like, okay, this is the equivalent of something bitter, like something medicinal. And I think that's why men drink it, because they're tormenting themselves and they probably give them an ego macho boost. That's why we drink a beer,
No, Kim. No, absolutely not, Kim. Once you had a beer after a long, hard day, after you've worked out and you go home and you have a cold beer, trust me, it hits differently. Very different. Yeah. Especially if you worked out and you sweat a lot. Yeah, I can see why those construction workers, they go and they buy a whole case of beer and they sit there and they slide one down right after the next. Because it's that magnificent. That's relaxation. That is you enjoying yourself.
Right.
I know I've been there. I know I've been there. I used to work at a bar.
Oh, you used to work at a bar.
Yeah.
My go-to drink is the Scotch on rocks. I will have that.
Scotch on rocks. Okay. Yeah, man. I love Scotch on rocks.
Having something icy, it's something strong one time.
Yeah. One time, that's my thing. I used to like Scotch with a splash of water on top, with a splash of water and some ice and a cube of ice and a splash of water. Not too much, a splash.
ginger ale. You know, like Canadian ale. What's it? Canadian dry. I know
Canada
that
Dry. Canada Dry. Yeah.
we've got Schweppes and we've got
Yeah.
something called LLB lime lemon bitters
Mm,
and lime lemon bitters, and that actually goes really good with it.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Almost tastes like champagne, doesn't it?
no, it doesn't taste like champagne. It just adds a fizz to it and a nice lemony, gingery flavor to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like
Yeah. I know.
champagne. Definitely nothing like champagne. Champagne is something totally different.
Totally different. Yeah. 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 I imagine it as being champagne. That's just my taste buds then.
Yeah, it's nothing like champagne. Champagne is very smooth
Mm,
and it's actually bitter. It's not that sweet. I used to think
okay.
champagne was something sweet and
Mm,
bubbly.
mm,
Not really.
okay. Okay.
At least the champagnes that I had.
Okay. I had Don Perignon one time. It didn't taste the way I thought people was always making it out to be. I thought it was some magical taste because it was so expensive. But Don Perignon was just a regular. It almost tasted like carbonated water. It wasn't that fantastic to me. I didn't
Wow.
get any special taste. It didn't tingle my taste buds.
Huh. Okay, no.
Yeah.
But other than that, I would probably have a Guinness or two ever so often.
Oh, you like a Guinness?
I drink Guinness sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, when I was drinking, Kim, man, my go-to drink, starting from about October straight throughout to Christmas, was a Guinness. You have Mr. Boston eggnog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
I used to have a Guinness and a Mr. Boston eggnog. I used to pour like a half pint of Mr. Boston eggnog and pour a Guinness on top. I had a big tumbler, and man, that was my Christmas drink. That was the festivity drink, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know from that, like if you're trying to regain your strength or something like
Oh
that,
yeah, yeah,
Guinness with the eggs, the raw eggs,
yes, yes, yes.
do something for you.
Yeah, it's supposed to replenish your blood cells, right? Because they encourage you to drink a Guinness after you've given blood.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. They encourage you to drink a Guinness. Nah, I'm not sure, but the doctors have said this, but I'm not a doctor, so I guess I have to go with what they say, right? But yeah, they say drink a Guinness.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll consider that.
yeah, drink a Guinness, man.
But there's some other things happening in the Caribbean too. You saw this thing happening with the Ghanese permanent secretary.
Oh yeah, I glanced at what's happening with that Kim. She got a visa revoked, or
That she was on her way to China en route, and when she reached America, she got her mobile phone seized,
Mm,
and they contained. But she's the Home Affairs Minister of Guyana.
mm,
Has contains she has national security information
mm,
and has information on party officials, obviously.
mm,
And she being a permanent secretary, you should be the least. I mean, you're in the ministry, right? But
yeah,
you're like this top-notch civil servant.
mm,
You're you're in charge of a lot of things. Home Affairs deals with police, immigrations, prisons, customs, and anti-narcotics and things like that.
mm,
So for them to have seized it, what are they trying to get at?
yeah.
And I saw that story and I wondered why.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good. I wonder why the Home Affairs Permanent Secretary and you said they seized the phone. I thought they revoked her visa and she couldn't travel.
No, she was on her way.
Mm,
Probably, your laptop and everything, cell phone and
mm,
whatever. But the American embassy is said to have advised the Guyanese government that the agents could ask detailed information for her purpose for visiting the US.
mm,
I mean, obviously, this is the thing that we have.
mm.
You have to travel to the east, so you have to stop off at least in America.
Yeah, yeah.
Your transfer flight to anywhere else in the world sometimes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, most people usually fly to LA. You have multiple stops
Yeah, yeah. LAX
at
or
east.
Houston.
Right. So, I mean, for this to have happened, it really wonders what's their purpose. I personally don't. I mean, America usually has their purpose and reasoning for something if they're trying to intimidate you in some way.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
must be some reason they're trying to intimidate her.
You think it came from that high, Kim? You think so? You think it came down from as high as the Secretary of State to intimidate the Guyanese permanent secretary? You really think so?
I think so, but sometimes I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes you want to know the education level of their officers.
Yeah, that's true. Because we see them shooting people in the streets. And so if we're getting a good glimpse of how they're treating people, their own people in the streets, then God knows what these customs and border patrol agents they and who they are, you know. And mind you, my goodness, take a look at what we're doing here in the Caribbean. We hire the most craziest people in some of these positions, Kim. The people who are unfit. So I can imagine what happens in the United States, you know. So yeah, so I mean, it's wild, man. You know. So I hope she gets it all sorted out, you know, because it's kind of embarrassing, you know, especially if you're someone who's used to being Mr. Suchy Such or Miss Suchy Such, and you know, how dare you stop me? That could be a shock to her psyche, you know.
To me, every Caribbean person, they don't take it for granted when it comes to dealing with the US. We're all treated like dogs there,
Mm,
honestly. It
mm,
matters not who you are. They will
mm.
reduce you're a colored person, and you know, you're from the Caribbean, they're gonna treat you like crap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My honest view, you know.
Mm. Poor lady.
But she returned to Guyana, and a report is pending. They
Mm.
said that she was handcuffed and physically harassed. She had a 3-hour detention.
Wow, what the hell was she doing?
I
They suspect her for drugs or something, Kim. That doesn't sound normal.
No, I mean, I've heard, honestly, I have relatives and people that travel to the US often enough,
Mhm.
and they would do them that. And they're even residents of the United States, and they're just coming to the Caribbean for visits. And, you know, they're normal people. And
Mm,
for that to happen, I think they were trying, they were just being victimizing her. Honestly,
mm.
I would just, you know, plain old victimization.
And you say she was on her way from China through the United States?
Way to China, but they said she was not traveling on official government business. But you know,
Oh, she's crazy then. Okay, oh, she was doing something else. Okay, now I see why they stopped her. You
are
went
you
to
not
China.
off to China still?
Yeah, yeah, she's a red flag then. Okay, I see why they stopped her. You know, you are a government official in Guyana. You're traveling to China on your own, a non-official business. What were you doing? Especially when the tensions between China and the United States is really ramping up, and China is now putting more flags down in the Caribbean, and you're traveling back and forth to China, traveling through our country at that to go to China. What are you trying to do? We want to see exactly what they gave you, what you gave them. That's what we want to see.
I mean, I know people that travel to China. You've been to China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I
treated
actually have
on the Chinese side though.
He was treated horribly there.
Oh yeah, my suitcases were torn apart. On every time I travel through the Chinese airport, we travel from city to city, and these aren't driving trips. You know, you have to really take a plane from Xiamen to Beijing. And so every time I travel in between the airports, they would open up my suitcases, they would rip them up, they would tear them up. And I had my luggage, I had to buy luggage when I got over there. It was destroyed. And I wasn't even a journalist then. I was just I was a regular guy attached with the opposition at the time, the Progressive Liberal Party. I was traveling with an entourage of Free National Movement people who was the government at the time, and the Progressive Liberal Party. I was a part of their team. It was a it was 8-man team, 4 from the FNM, 4 from the PLP. And yeah, I was the only person they treated like that. I was the only person they tore up. You know, I was the only person whose suitcases were totally trashed, and I was the only person who was treated who's treated separately and different from everybody else. And I wasn't anybody. I wasn't doing anything, Kim. I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing.
I
And they
mean,
did that to me.
to me, America tends to do that ever so often. If they back, okay, because we in the Caribbean we have these names. Some of us have similar names, and they may cite you. Okay, you're probably linked to a terrorist. You're probably linked, or a relative probably did something that you aren't aware of. Someone you has a similar name to you, even. To say, okay, that person's blacklisted. But for her to go through this, you know, for them to act so hostile toward a slammer against a wall, she was not even able to make her way to her trip. She returned home.
That sounds like a lawsuit now, Kim.
That's embarrassing, and no one can give answers on it.
That sounds like a lawsuit, Kim. You sure she wasn't acting kind of funky either? She was just a regular, oh, I just pick me up and slam me. She wasn't like running her yapping at the mouth.
They said she was fasting for Ramadan. So she might have been, you know, if you're not eating and drinking, not even swallowing, you know, she could probably be a little lightheaded or weak or something. You don't know.
Yeah, something else behind that story, Kim. I don't believe the American side. I don't believe her side either. Something else happened. Yeah, hopefully someone get to the bottom of it, right? Because that doesn't sound right. Me personally, that's what I take of it, right? So there's something else behind that.
Had experience with stories with they doing that to people for
Hmm.
no reason. They've red flag you on your even on your ticket. Right?
Hmm.
Red flag you, and the certain signs that you have to look for
Hmm.
that hey, this is what they're doing to you.
Hmm. But they red flag you for a reason, though. I mean, but like I said, something else is behind that, Kim. Trust me with that. That isn't just some poor permanent secretary traveling back and forth from China to the United States, and they just picked up out of a lineup and they decided to slam her up against the wall, that kind of thing. That doesn't happen like that, Kim. I mean, yeah, it sounds exciting, it sounds dramatic, but nah, it doesn't happen like that all the time. I mean, yeah, that something else happened. At least tell us that she was suspected of doing something. At least say that. You know.
Well, hopefully the U.S. Embassy to Ghana would release a statement and actually say
Yeah.
something. Nothing really ever comes out of this unless the government itself, the Ghanese government itself, does a report.
Mm-hmm.
Does
She's
some
only a permanent secretary. She's expendable. She's only a permanent secretary. She's not like a high level cabinet minister.
permanent secretaries are the backbone of your cabinets.
I know.
Honestly,
They'll find somebody else and replace it tomorrow. They'll just shuffle those permanent secretaries. They'll find another permanent secretary. They'll get the undersecretary or the deputy permanent secretary. Let's promote that person up. So trust me, they're expendable, Kim. Yeah, they're important, but you can find another person to be the permanent secretary. Let's be real.
I mean, yeah, it's true, but I just think it's unwarranted in some cases.
Yeah, I know, right? But I'm sorry she went through that though. But like I said, let's wait for the whole story to come out to see what's happening with that man. But that's good though. That's good you brought that up because I've seen that flashing across my Facebook. I didn't dig into it, but yeah, I've seen it flashing across my Facebook. So that's interesting, man. You know, so we'll see what the U.S. Embassy in Guyana has to say about that, and see what the investigation turns up. Which may be nothing, like how you said, it may turn into nothing, but we'll just see.
Perhaps.
They lie on me.
I know we were talking a bit about this carbon corruption report that you mentioned.
Oh
And
yeah, the World Justice Project. Yeah, they released this corruption report.
public officers were more than likely to receive bribes. And
Yeah,
true, there was 13% in that, and that's no surprise. We were one of the high ranking countries in the Caribbean that was studied in this report. Next
yeah,
is the Bahamas. I think Bahamas came in at 16%, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah. On several, and it's 16% on one indicator, but the Bahamas ranked high in almost every other indicator. We are especially perception of public corruption. I think we were at 91%, and the average was 83%.
Wow.
But 91% we were ranked as people who saw our public officials as being corrupt and actually giving more to their cronies and their friends than giving to anybody else. That's how we perceive our government here. There's a bunch of cronyism, and we were right, and Suriname was right behind us. Such a mistrust with the people that they give to us when these political parties come to office. They give us their brothers, their cousins, their second cousins, and these people they're really incompetent. But everybody needs a job. But at the end of the day, with a country so small like this, of course, a lot of that's going to happen. So they're not looking at that aspect as well. Countries are small like the Bahamas. Of course, a minister is going to give his cousin a job. I would give my brother a job. I don't even like my brother like that. I don't. I mean, yeah, I love him, right? But I don't trust his judgment.
That's become the way of the world here in our carbon territories. That's the way things work.
Yeah.
To get a job, you got to be connected. Someone has to put your name here and mention it. Even in social programs where you're supposed to get grants and things like that. Social programs where you try to get probably a course, registered in basic little things that you think any average citizen should have access to.
Yeah. I didn't realize how bad it was, how I've been ingrained into this, being told no and being given a runaround until I actually went to the UK the first time. I actually applied for services and I actually got a response. I was expecting them to give me the runaround and tell me no.
No.
Yeah, that's how conditioned I was to being in this anxious situation where every time you turn somewhere, you're being drilled around, you're being told no, you're being told to go over here, being told to do this, told to do that, and there's no set boundary, no set guideline. Everything's arbitrary. You know, I've been conditioned into that. And it wasn't until I went to the UK that first time, actually the United States the first time. They said, oh, I can apply for something and actually get a response. I mean, someone's actually going to give me a response, you know, and going to tell me exactly what I need to do to actually, if it's wrong, to fix my application or to fix this or to fix that. You know, that's, I could walk into a government agency and actually get what I actually came for. You know, I realize why they're developed countries. We're just a developing country. Because all this stuff we go through here is absolutely unnecessary, Kim. Take, for example, Kim, our cabinet still goes through document by document work permit visas. The cabinet of the Bahamas sits down with each individual work permit that comes through the Ministry of Immigration. They go through each one of them saying which one they're going to approve, which one they're not going to approve. And you would hear the current Minister for Foreign Affairs, who was the Minister of Immigration on several different occasions, right? You would hear him say, all they do at these cabinet meetings when they go through these work permits, they just want to see who's getting a work permit, who's bringing a sweetheart in, and who's bringing a cousin in from this and that. That's all it is. Just this minutia that they're so bogged down. It's this stupidity that they're bogged down in. They don't need to liberate that serviceman. Let the officials determine who they want to give a work permit to. They don't need to do that anymore. You know, this is 2023. You don't need to do it anymore, man. You know, graduate to a higher level. Let's raise the level of leadership, man. You don't need to go through a work permit I'm serious, Kim. On I think he says every Tuesday, every second Tuesday.
Wow.
They go through these work permits after the cabinet meeting. They go through one by one. The Security Council in the cabinet, they go through these permits one by one to see who's getting work permit, who isn't getting work permit. And you can imagine that probably dozens of them, right?
I would imagine.
And it's a waste of time, Kim. It's a waste of time.
The best thing you've got to do when it comes to governance.
Yeah.
You would have policies that would enable, businesses and trade and things like that.
Yeah.
Instead of nitpicking over.
Yeah. And so such minutia, right? Even right now, in the Bahamas, they changed the law just recently, but before that, any contract that was over $50,000 had to go to the cabinet for cabinet approval. Any contract over $50,000 had to go to cabinet approval. You can't do nothing when they have $50,000. You can't paint a building. You can't do anything in this country for $50,000, Kim. So anything over $50,000, you had to go to the tenders committee, and you had to be approved by the tenders committee. And it was just this long, drawn-out process. But they've changed the law now, thank God. But I think the threshold now is up to $150,000, which is really decent. Because I don't think a cabinet minister should be going through a $30,000 contract, Kim. That's too small. Why are you bothering with a guy who wants a $30,000 contract? To weed the yard or to weed the roadsides or something like that. That's just, you don't need it, man. It's just too much work. Do something else. Find something meaningful to do. Yeah.
But I'm looking at this whole Caribbean corruption perception report was Compatible Justice Project.
Yeah.
Compared to what we're used to, which is Transparency International. I think they're a World Bank organization, right?
Yeah.
So, earlier this year, they would have had Transparency International, and they would have spoken about our region as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, Transparency International has 62% of Trinidadians think that, we're corrupt, whereas, that's 62%. And we rank 77 out of 180 compared to what this report had put out. So, I mean, that's just Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yeah.
Really nitpicked here in this report on Caribbean islands, and I was looking at that, and we went to the people to find out what was their percentage, their perception of it. 60% said that all members of parliament are corrupt here in Trinidad, and they even cited the media. They even said 57% of the media is really corrupt. Really? And I know there's this notion here in Trinidad that most media houses are actually biased towards the government.
And something that's one thing I noticed in Trinidad, Kim, that sorry for interrupting you, because it all depends. Like they would say, the same person would say that CN3, that's a CN3, right? They say CN3 is totally biased and corrupt, and then that same person come right back and say, "Oh, well, CN3 is doing a good report today." So it's kind of mixed up, Like, what are they trying to? I find there's a lot of anxiety in Trinidad with regard to this, man.
I mean, we've got two major stations in the private sector. That's CCN TV6, which is OCM. They own 5 news stations in the Caribbean, not just Trinidad. They own stations all the way and newspapers all the way up to Jamaica. And Guyana, from Guyana to Jamaica, they've got shares in news across the region. And there's CNC3, which is Sabga own, which is the Syrians. They've quite a share of the pie when it comes to radio stations, and they're actually leading when it comes to television in the local market.
Okay.
So they look at how people view the reports. What's your headline? What's your front page?
Yeah.
And the headlines are usually disparaging against the opposition. Who?
See, so you're one of them, Kim. So you're one of them.
I'm looking at how I'm looking at how people
Yes.
People in our country see, okay, but when Kamala in power, all they do is say this and y'all do say this and da. And they would really, and actually I've been part of the media listening to how they ask the questions. The questions are not as hard hitting as it ought to be.
See, Kim, you're buying into that too, Kim. Step away from the ledge, Kim. Step away from the ledge.
And I'm watching because I am part of the media here in Trinidad, and I am not in the hot seat where I get to ask the hot questions I'd like to ask. I'd like to ask those questions, and if you dare ask it, sometimes it's like, oh, you're labeled like anti against them, but someone needs to ask the questions, and this is your job as the media, as a fourth seat. You need to ask hard-hitting questions. We need to get to the answers people want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I think all parties need those questions right now. When this whole thing erupted with human trafficking with the opposition, you needed to ask those questions. You needed to say something. You needed, even with the government in power right now, you're asking questions. Rowley put out a statement yesterday calling for THA to call fresh elections because what happened with the PDP, which is Watson Duke's party, and all of that. But it's the questions that need to be asked. But certain ministers, certain prime ministers don't allow any questions. And we've seen that happen here in Trinidad. You're not
Rowley's been pretty forthcoming, right?
What's that?
Rowley's been pretty forthcoming, right?
No, he comes and speaks when he feels the need to defend something or say something.
Oh, okay. I keep seeing him having his press conferences, so I always say he's forthcoming. So I mean, so he's not.
I would look at it this way, right? Every time you're in public, every single time, say you're at a forum today, at the end of the forum when you're exiting, the media rushes. We all rush. It's like, okay, we need to ask you, Prime Minister, we need you to answer this question. What are your views on this happening? What happened here? What's the National Security Minister doing here? And questions like that. You don't see that happening today. He does not allow it. And it begs you to why doesn't he allow it? When he's ready, he comes out and says a statement. When it was Kamala Prasad-Visesa and even Patrick Manning and even Pandey, I'm looking at the prime ministers before, all the way, my reporting, going back to Pandey. Every single time Manning was there, you can go push a mic in his face and he would answer, hey, Prime Minister, say something, you know, and you can get that. You're not getting that with Dr. Rowley.
He's raging, they say, right?
I'm not saying that's what Patrick Manning would have described him as. About making himself available to the media. He does not see the need to do that. They used to have press conferences. They used to have something called, I know Manning had set in precedent, which every Thursday after the cabinet briefing, you had a post-cabinet media briefing. So when it was discussed at cabinet, you know, you came out and said, okay, well, cabinet agreed on that. We could actually get an entire newscast from post-cabinet.
Wow. In the Bahamas, that doesn't happen like that. Usually when they have meetings in cabinet, until it's agreed, you wouldn't hear it until you actually see them before cabinet, the next cabinet meeting. So before cabinet, they don't say much before they go and speak of cabinet, but after cabinet, they say nothing at all, right? And so we wouldn't know what they agreed to in cabinet until they have their own press conference and their own thing. And that's how it really goes. So you guys were lucky with Manning, you know, but these guys doesn't know it all.
That was with Manning, and Kamala continued that. So every Thursday after cabinet, every Thursday cabinet met. It's like that. It's the same here with Prime Minister Rowley. So Thursday you have cabinet media briefing. You You make your decisions. Cabinet took the decision to do so and so, the policy of trade, la la la.
That's a good practice.
Yeah, it was really good. And the media, it was an opportunity for the media to speak with the ministers, but it was unusually the prime minister led the way.
Okay.
Make yourself, that gives a level of accountability and transparency. Make yourself open to the media for them to ask questions. And it's live televised as well.
You know something, I don't see why they run from the media. Usually as a politician, you would want to be off face in front of the camera at every given point in time, or you'd want to be in the media every given point in time, especially if you're saying something good. But I don't understand why politicians run from the media. I just don't get it. I don't understand why you run from the media. I honestly don't get it, Kim. And we have a lot of politicians that run from the media. I just don't understand, Kim. Why would you run from the media? You need the media.
You definitely can. Here's the thing. So in Parliament, we have a certain Friday given, a certain House sitting given for the Prime Minister's questions. However, those are questions from the opposition. And the opposition does not, they're taking care of public business, basically. Why is this bridge not repaired yet?
Yeah.
What is with the, they want transparency with regard to how much revenue was done, what's happening with the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, how much money came in here, answers and questions towards your budget allocations and what have you. That's what the opposition is there to do.
Yeah.
Media is going to take up a different, your layman questions, basically. What the average Joe on the road wants to hear. And you need that.
Yeah,
it adds to public transparency. And when we talk about, public perception of corruption, factor in it.
Yeah. The public trust, right?
Exactly. That's the level of transparency. You've opened yourself up to the public to answer questions and to speak.
Because a firm answer would actually allay some of the fears,
Exactly.
Just a firm answer would just make people feel a lot more comfortable, even if there's something they don't like. Just tell us something what's going on. Please talk to us. And I find a lot of people are just lonely. They want to hear from the politician. They want to hear them say something. They want to feel a part of the government, and they don't take us seriously. That's the thing, Kim. They don't believe that a lot of people look up to them still. I mean, for whatever reason, right? They don't believe that people hang on their every last word, and what they say is very important.
So that was the difference with Prime Minister Manning and Prime Minister Rowley. He was hands-on in that sense. You may not have the answers. Kamala does not have the answers. She's the opposition leader. But just having your leaders right in public, right there, in the midst of people are feeling pain right now with the level of murders and what's happening with crime. You push this whole thing where you need entrepreneurship, you needed small businesses to carry the economy. Yeah, they are the targets right now, the criminals here in Trinidad and Tobago. And you want to hear something, allay our fears. Give us an idea. You could probably be bullshitting us. Forgive me. Probably be, selling us some dreams, far-fetched dreams, but you're there saying something,
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I got you, Kim. Even though we know it's not a magic bullet, that's going to solve crime overnight, at least make us feel a bit better what's going on. Talk to us. Let us hear that you are actually with us and you empathize with us, because our brothers and sisters and our sons and daughters are being shot down and killed in the streets, and you acting like you don't care,
You're living in a lofty palace. You've got security out 24/7.
Yeah.
We're facing it,
Yep. Every day.
You can't be in your yard. Having a few dogs in your yard is not going to save you.
No.
Nothing. Having your doors locked and caged up with burglar proofing is not going to do anything either.
I know, Kim. Wow. So that's your rant for the night on Trinidad. So it's your rant. If Mondays is Kim rant night.
That for you, but I'm saying it, looking at it from the transparency point of view.
Yeah, I got you. We got a long way to go with corruption, man.
Exactly.
But this World Justice Project report said that the only countries that are worth a damn is Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada. They said people in Antigua and Barbuda, along with Grenada, reported the lowest percentage of experiences with the public sector bribery, at least 1%, while 19% of respondents in the Dominican Republic and Haiti reported to having provided a bribe, gift, or favor within the last 12 months. Jamaica at 17%, Guyana at 16%. So the people in Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada, they don't have any problems with bribery. Wow, what a wonderful country. I wish you lived there.
I heard that Barbados actually scored the least as well.
Yeah.
One of those countries.
They're always going to paint the picture bright for Miss Motley, right? Because she can do no wrong. She can do no wrong, right?
I mean, she's still weeding out a lot of things. I know she's trying.
Yeah, she's trying.
I'm not going to be vexed at any country. If you see growth in any country, I'm happy for you all.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm happy for Barbados, whatever they're experiencing.
Yes.
That one of us rises to the occasion.
It's a blessing because I was there when the DLP was in power. When Frindle Stewart, and man, people Barbadians are pretty calm, right? But you could tell they were getting pretty fed up with Frindle Stewart and his boys and Sinclair and those boys. You could tell they were getting really pissed off with them, right? I mean, my goodness, man, the sewage was actually coming up in the middle of the Bay Street, in the middle of that downtown street. The sewage is actually pumping up through. I saw it with my own eyes. And actually, they had a loan from the IDB to fix this problem. They spent most of the money and still didn't fix the problem. And so Barbadians were pissed off with Frindle Stewart and Chris Sinclair and those boys. They couldn't get anything done, So no wonder why Motley came and swept them out of office, because by that time, she was already a rising star. She was so more popular than the sitting government that they would have like functions. And they would give her a round of applause. Like she would speak last. Usually, the keynote speaker would be the person in government, right? She would come in and have the last say, and she would leave with a standing ovation. And the government ministers would speak first, and they'd let her have the platform, like they were giving her the government, like they didn't want it anymore. That's how bad it was when before Mia Motley won. And I see the difference now when I go to Barbados now. There's a little more calmer, and people are really mellowing out and going about their business. They don't mind Mia.
But Frondel Stewart had taken over from David Thompson. And,
yeah. Who was former editor,
What's that?
He was a friend of my former editor. He was a good man.
Yeah. He was widely liked in the Caribbean, actually.
Yes. He died of cancer, God rest his soul,
It was a sad day when I saw him die, and he was rather young.
Yeah, he was young, yeah. His wife kept over the DLP. She was a member of parliament, and she stepped away from the party as well. That should show you how pissed off people were with the DLP. Right. She was a member of parliament. She stepped away. She wasn't running anymore. She was tired of them.
But the opposition seems to be not that strong right now in Barbados. That's Villa de Pisa has taken over.
No, actually, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood, he's put out to pasture. She had that disastrous election, but she got swept by Mia Motley again. And so they put her to the side, and they have Dr. Ronnie Yearwood. I've spoken to him before, actually. Dr. Ronnie Yearwood. He's a professor at the University of the West Indies. He's a brilliant man. A doctor in political science, and he's a lawyer as well. And so, he's the one who's going to shepherd the DLP back to some semblance of respectability. It's a tough hill to climb, though. And I've spoken to him. He doesn't seem as if that he's really worried about any victimization from Mia Motley. Yeah. That's what they all say. But when it gets down to brass tacks, when you're a threat, then she's going to put the hammer on you. So he can sit in his pocket all he wishes. Maybe go ahead, Kim.
No, I'm just saying that I think any government, no matter how strong you are, no matter how liked you are with the public, you also you're stronger and better when you've got a strong opposing force.
Absolutely. We see it now. I see it now here in the Bahamas. The opposition is so weak here. So it's not even funny, and it's not just the amount of members in the opposition; it's the quality of the members in the opposition. It's the quality.
I never thought I'd hear that from the FNM.
Yeah. There's a quality of, yeah, they are terrible. They're fighting. Dr. Minnis is being put on the side, and he definitely wants to come back. He wants to lead that party again. But I think after his performance in that last administration, people don't really want him back. I don't think he understands that people don't want him back like that, But it's just like the current leader of the opposition now, Michael Pindard. He apparently is very, very, he speaks a lot, but he doesn't speak anything with substance all the time. And so people are having this question. They just don't believe that he could actually lead them to election victory. And my thing is, right, why not leave him alone? Why not? But anyway, Kim, that's enough for the publics here.
I guess we'll pick up that later. Yeah,
we'll talk about it. But our time's up though, Kim. So any final thoughts, man?
It was a busy Monday.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening, man. You talk about the BPI election. We're probably going to hear about that tonight or early tomorrow. We're going to see who the winners are. We also talk about this Haiti gang. The people rose up in Haiti. They took the gangs of themselves. You know, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, Kim, but I think it's okay. You know, but violence only begets violence. So what's going to happen when the gang comes back and avenges their murders now?
That's the other story.
You know, Kim, that's us for the night, man. I thank you for joining me again tonight, Kim. So here again, we end another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yori Kemp, along with my beautiful co-host, Miss Kimberly Graham Calawan, saying goodbye from our respective countries. And please, if you have not done so already, please like and subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Click like to any of the videos and share any of the videos. It really helps us out with getting our message across and building our community. We're still growing, Kim. Slowly but surely, we're getting more subscribers. So please just stick with us and join us on YouTube or Facebook on LimeVibe. And we're looking forward to seeing you. So thank you once again, Kim. Good night.
Good night.